Hey guys, what's up? So it's been a while since I posted a video, and thought I would just kind of shoot the breeze with y'all and fill you in on where things are at. As you can tell, my garage is a little bit of a mess. Got a pile of crap over there. It's because we're doing some work on the other garage, putting in some shelves for storing all of our crap. You know, those of you who have families know what I mean. And sometimes you just, as an individual, you collect a lot of crap. So I literally just built a bunch of shelves for my crap. So just thought I would kind of fill you guys in on where the bike is at, future plans, and some possible cool stuff on the way, and maybe talk to you about, what that's going to be like. So, all right, so the Buell. It's been kind of a rocky ride. I have some footage somewhere stored on my cloud server with what happened, but I'll tell you what happened, and maybe in a later video I'll come back. I don't want to do any editing. I'm sorry. I apologize. I just don't feel like it. So I'm riding along one day, and everything's hunky-dory, the bike's running all right, and I'm going into a turn, so I'm getting ready, I'm prepping up, setting up, and then all of a sudden, just as I'm tipping in, I do an endo. I mean, there's this big clash, and I do this endo, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna freaking die. Engine gets super loud and everything. And so what had happened was that I recovered, no accident. I was able to quickly upright the bike and pull off to the side of the road. No endo, no, I didn't complete the endo, no front flips or anything like that. So thank heavens everything turned out okay. So I get limp the bike back home, called my neighbor here. He's a really cool guy, and he came out. We're just down, a couple miles down the road, and he came and helped me out. But I guess I need to tell you what happened. I'm sorry, let me back up. So the muffler broke completely off, the Revmo muffler. There's a rear tab on the muffler, and it kicked down, and off it came. So so that's why my neighbor came over and helped me out. He came over and grabbed the muffler because I couldn't hold it, while I'm trying to shift the bike, etc. So, because trust me, that thought crossed my mind. So he came over, got the muffler, and I rode the bike open, back home, open header, that was interesting. It was pretty blisteringly loud. I don't know how those chopper guys do it. I don't know, man, that's too loud. It sounds cool on video and maybe from a distance, but man, when you're on the bike and it's like right there, it's not pleasant. Anyways, so get back home and start compiling maybe a few ideas of how I'm going to approach this. One idea was to take the stock muffler, which is completely hacked to pieces up there on that shelf, and come up with kind of a janky DIY Flowmaster kind of baffled muffler based on the stock setup, and put all the stock stuff back on. Matter of fact, the other idea I had was to do that, not reinstall all the stock mounting brackets it uses a, hold on. So it uses these giant hose clamps to hold the muffler. Buell owners know what I mean. They're just big old hideous looking things, and they work, but they do break. I had to buy some new ones because the factory ones, one of the factory ones had broken off. They only had one holding it on, so I had to buy a set of new ones. So it's just not a good design. I guess that's arguably a factual statement. I don't know. That's probably not the right way to put that, but I guess people would argue in favor of the factory method of setting up the muffler. I just don't agree. So the idea was I would take the stock muffler, weld up some new brackets to mount it to the bottom of the engine, and you know, have it a little bit more solid, etc. And then the other idea was to repair the Revmo muffler. I contacted Revision Moto and let them know, shot them a video of what had happened. Needless to say, I did not send it back to them. There was an offer to repair the muffler. I saw the some photographs that were sent to me of the proposed repair, and nope. The problem was with the way that the muffler broke. There's a mounting tab on the back of it. Maybe I still have it. Hold on. Yeah, here it is. I kept it just as a trophy. So this is the rear mounting tab. And as you can see, it's sheared. And as you can see, maybe that is a laminated, that's two pieces of stainless basically welded together. And so there's not a lot of meat there, right? So as I'm riding the bike, you know, the vibration from, you know, the Harley engine, I mean, they rattle a lot. And the idea I have is that it just fatigued the metal over time from hot and cold cycles and vibration and stuff like that. Bumps in the road here in Texas, which are everywhere. It gave out. And so the proposed repair from Revmo was to do the same thing, but put gussets, you know, going forward, I think forward, maybe to the rear. I can't remember which direction. Actually, I think they were to the rear, putting gussets on this bracket, on this mount to strengthen it, because the Revmo folks were under the impression that my muffler was misaligned, and therefore pressure had flexed it and broken it here. Well, that's not the case. That is not what happened. The mount was still actually attached to the muffler itself. It just plain sheared completely in half. So, and there was no alignment issues. It was, you know, straight up. So I bought some stainless plate, I can't remember what gauge this is. I think it's 14 gauge stainless. I don't remember what type of stainless it is. It's not even labeled. Bought it from only place I could find it was at Amazon. I did not want to buy it from Amazon, but that's where I got it. And made my own mounts. I replaced the front mount and the rear mount on the bike. The front mount got bent, and during the fiasco, and so I redid it, made it bulkier, a little bit stronger, and then the rear mount is rather robust. And I don't have a TIG welder. I have a flux core MIG, you know, so I don't even have gas. I would like to have that stuff, but you know, raising a family, and I got a budget to work with. So I wanted to put a plug for these guys right here, this Blue Demon. This company makes a flux core welding wire. It's in my welder over there. I just got one of those Harbor Freight welders. That it was a little difficult to get the flow right, and get, you know, the voltage and wire speed and all that going correctly. I only have two settings, high or low, on that welder. So the welds are not pretty, okay, but they're very strong. I got good penetration in the welds, and that stuff was a lifesaver. that's a keeper. I would highly recommend checking that out. You can find their products everywhere. I bought that from Amazon. At the same time I bought the stainless plate and made my brackets. So I didn't get any video of, you know, me making the brackets or anything like that. I apologize, but you know, I was pretty upset. Honestly, I was pretty ticked off that the whole incident had happened, and I wasn't necessarily happy with the response I got from the vendor, and I kind of felt like, I felt like selling my bike. I was pretty ticked off. I was ready to bail on this. And one of my Buell buddies in the Telegram group, the Buell Telegram group, said, "Don't you dare sell that bike." So he talked me out of it. Maybe he guilted me a little bit. I don't know. Mike, whatever, man. Anyway, so I got the muffler fixed, and it's solid. I check. It's part of my T-Clocks now. So it's T-Clocks M. So I check the muffler every time before riding the bike to make sure it's okay. You know, what's funny too is that I had literally just before this had happened, I had washed the bike and gotten underneath the bike and had been, you know, cleaning off the muffler, and there was no indication that this was cracked. So, I mean, of course it could have been a hairline crack. It could have just been barely cracked, you know, and I wouldn't have seen that. It's hard to say. I mean, it is stainless, and stainless is known for embrittling over time or immediately, especially when it's just two very thin pieces of plate welded together. I mean, that's bad. I don't know, man. So Revision Moto, if you watch this, that's definitely a design flaw. I'm going to call it what it is. It is a design flaw to do it that way. So enough of that. The bike is back together, but I have some other news about the Buell that is kind of just disheartening. So I've got a base gasket leak, and that's been there for a minute, and you know, the bike runs fine, and they'll run fine forever with a base gasket leak. Now I have oil coming out of the head. So nothing's amiss on the bike. It's running okay. It's not consuming oil. There's no smoke coming out of the tailpipe. Everything seems to be okay there. I think what had happened was when I took that trip to the Dragon and the bike got hot, I think I got hurt. I believe that may have been what happened. It's hard to say. I didn't notice any oil when I got back because I did a thorough check of the bike. And I don't know. Maybe the leak was there the whole time, but and I just didn't notice it. I don't know. It's pretty noticeable. It's not coming down the back side of the engine yet. It's kind of staying right around the head where the cylinder and the head meet. Some have asked me, well, do you think it might be a valve cover gasket? And you can see the valve cover gasket plainly. When you take the seat off, you can see the rear valve cover gasket, and there's no indication that there's a leak there. So everything is clean on the top. It's down on the side. I would show you, but I think this is more of one of those talker kind of videos, me just chatting with you. So that means that, the fun I'm gonna have on the Buell is limited. How much I can ride it means kind of a ticking time bomb, really. Others might disagree with that, but I don't have a trailer. I don't even have a pickup. So if I break down somewhere, it's gonna be a bad day. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get the bike back here to the garage. So gonna be limiting how much I ride the Buell, and that day that I mentioned before, probably a number of times during video, that this is a project bike, and I'm lucky enough that it runs. It runs well. It still runs well. There's, but it's gonna have to get freshened up. So that day's coming. So aside from that, one more bit of cool news. It's not official yet, but I could have another bike back there soon. The bike, I learned to ride on is currently sitting at my dad's house in Tennessee in a bit of, it's just sitting, it's been sitting for a long time. So during Christmas and New Year's, I visited my family out there in Tennessee and told my dad, it's like, hey, that bike is a runner. It runs. It needs some, freshening up as far as the carburetor, going through the electrics. It's got electrical short. It's a 6-volt system with magneto points and all that stuff. I learned how to do that stuff on that bike. I learned how to work on it. And so it's got a place in my heart. It was my grandfather's bike, and he gave it to all us boys before he passed away. And it's a part of all of our lives in it, and we all want it to run. I'm the only one with enough room and the know-how and the time to be able to fix it. So not that no diss on my other brothers. That wasn't a diss on my brothers. They could do it too. It's just I have the space and the capability to do it. So eventually, at some point, that bike could end up sitting back there, and you'll see a lot of videos where I'm taking that bike apart and fixing it and probably riding it. I'm not a small man, and this is a 90cc bike. It's a 71 Kawasaki 90cc G3 SS. So look that up and check that out if you get a chance, if you're even interested. 2-stroke bike. It was a lot of fun. I have a lot of memories. My brothers and I all share a lot of memories on that bike. We rode it everywhere. I rode it to and from school when I was in high school and first started, riding motorcycles on the street legally. That was the bike that I did it on until I was able to buy a bigger bike. Went from a 90 to a 750. So that will be hopefully a part of what we're doing in this garage soon. May end up with 2 bikes completely disassembled. I've been in negotiations with my wife about maybe having another, maybe not a Buell, but another bike. I've been looking really hard at the Kawasaki with 900 RS, the Retro Sport, the one that looks like a Z1. I mean, dude, that's a slick bike. And I'm not saying I'm going to replace the Buell. So I would have a daily rider and then 2 project bikes, one of which is more of an heirloom. And this one is more of a, hey, that's really cool, you got a Buell. And, kind of this ends up becoming a trailer queen mostly. Because parts are getting scarce, like legit. I mean, they're still out there, but they are getting scarce. So I got to be careful what I do with this thing. The other Kawasaki, the G3 SS, there's like nothing. It does share some parts with some other 2-stroke Kawasaki's. The KE100 and the G3 SS do share some parts. So I'm lucky there. I'll be able to rob parts off of KE100s. Finding, aftermarket or NOS parts for that bike would help. Like I might be able to modify some of those parts to work. So, it'll be a fun project, I think. It'll be fun to see it fully operable and running. It's got antique plates, so I don't have to worry about getting it tagged or anything like that. So that's kind of cool. And then once it's up and running and restored, then work something out with my brothers and figure out what we're going to do there. So anyways, that's it, guys. We're getting long on this video. We're now up to about 20 minutes. So anyways, I appreciate you stopping in, checking in with me, and subscribing to the channel. Hope to hear from y'all in the comment section down below. And until next time, peace out and keep it between the ditches.